guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. I have very popular request on the channel. It is Boss. Welcome back, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ash. What about you?
I'm doing fantastic, dude. You have been a very, very popular request in the last few days, especially after your A, banned, you can tell from the hashtag unbanned boss on your account name, and B, after your alleged bot video, I guess, incident, conspiracy slash theory, I guess is a better word, because I went into that video when you alleged that there were bots on ladder, very skeptical, honestly, just like, you know, A, why would there be bots? And B, more importantly, why would we have not known about this or heard about this before now? But after watching your video, I am a believer. And I actually, to go one step further, I think it's actually good for the game. I think it makes sense. But why don't we take a little bit of a rewind here and tell me, how did you figure this out? How did you find this out about bots?
Well, basically, I started a level 1 account about a week ago, and I was just pushing up ladder, and I got into around the jungle arena, the 2,000 to 3,000 trophy range, and I versed someone named Gato, and then right after I versed someone named Ran, and they both had the same deck, identical deck, same levels, and there were just lots of coincidences. And then I take it further, watch the replay, because I remember how they both played very strange, and a lot of their placements were just the same, honestly. And it was very, I really thought about it. And then I even went to Royale API and stuff, because Rayan's wall breakers as well were a different level than Gato's, but I saw he could upgrade them, so then that would have been the exact same levels and everything. So many things identical, and it was just very strange to me.
Yeah, very interesting. And then, so at that point, you and your viewers must have been like, okay, this is interesting. What did you do after that?
Well, then I checked some Royale API stuff even more, and just saw how they were not in a clan, even though they had donations, and also just their profiles were very similar. And then I was pretty much convinced at that point that they were just kind of bots, and maybe even the same bot, because of the same deck and levels and that.
Yeah, and play style.
In the replays, I was able to tell they just did a lot of the same type of placements. Their thought process didn't really make any sense. Which could just be a regular person at 2,000 trophies, but they had the same deck, same order of cards, same placements, and same unorthodox playstyle. Right.
And no clan, 4-letter names. What else? Same card levels. Yeah, okay. So go on. So then you check the API, you realize that they were basically the same bot, essentially, right?
Yeah, that's a theory.
Believe. That's a theory.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you? I already teased at the beginning of the video that I think this is actually a really good thing. But before I share my opinion, what are the overall ramifications of bots in Clash Royale on ladder? Right now, all we really know is it's likely they exist in low-level arenas, but nothing beyond that confirmed. Or actually nothing confirmed, but just to be careful with my words, but nothing like that kind of alleged or suspected at this point. So how do you feel about it?
Well, I feel like it's used around the 2,000, 3,000, maybe even mid 3,000, upper 3,000 trophy range, just because you probably don't have too many players searching at that range. And what I noticed when I matched these people, it was after I had searched 3, 4, 5 seconds before it matched me up with them. So that right there was another thing that I thought was pretty strange, because when I found a regular game versus what I could tell seemed to be a normal player, it only took 1 or 2 seconds for me to match up with them.
That's interesting. So your theory is, and it makes a lot of sense, that new players, Supercell wants them to have the smoothest, most beneficial experience possible playing this game, that after a certain amount of wait time, even if it's 3 seconds, say, they will match you with a bot. That way you can keep the games going. I like that. So they're matching you with a really crappy player, usually, because it's a bot, and B, they're mitigating wait time. So that's the reasons I think it's a great idea. Now, do you think there could be bots at mid-level and upper-level ladder ranges? Like, for example, this is, again, no evidence to back this up, but even if it doesn't exist, would it be a good thing? Look at games like, PUBG Mobile or any Battle Royale game with bots that they just populate into these matches, and they're usually easy, right? So the question is after, let's say you start tilting, boss, and you lose like 3 or 4 or 5 matches in a row, would it be good if Supercell threw in a bot there, like for an easy win, or would that be not cool,
Well, I really think if you're talking about the 4K trophy range, something like that, I feel like that wouldn't be an awful thing, just because I feel like in the top ladder, of course, you don't have bots like that because by that point you're probably playing the game quite a lot, like you're dedicated to the game, so you're all right waiting a certain amount of time and you're used to tilting. But maybe when you're at the 4K range, it's probably, I feel like, better because it would just
it would just like it would untilt people essentially and make the game make the whole experience of the game a little bit better for some people. Now I'm sure some of my viewers are like, dude, we don't want pity matches, I want to get better, and the way you get better is by losing and like stuff like that, so I can see both sides of it. It would be really fun to be like a fly on the wall in Supercell and hear like their conversation about these type of issues, these type of things, and see where their head is at and if they've ever really considered it. Because like you, I think it's unlikely. I think that I'm comfortable saying that bots probably do exist lower level, and beyond that they don't really. But any other thoughts on bots before we go to the ban?
Actually, yeah, there was one thing I think I forgot to mention.
Sure.
When you go on Royal API, and when I looked at those 2 players, I looked on their battle list, and I think it was one of them, I was their first game ever, which was very strange too to me, that, I was their first game ever. Like, why didn't they play another game before they versed me?
You're right,
so
you're
it's
right.
As if, that's the other thing I saw. They only had a few battles played. I think they both either had 2 or maybe 3 games played, something like that. Very small amount for how high up they are.
But on their profile, though, it did say they had like 200 games won or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
like 188 3-crown wins, something like that.
Yeah, we've seen that. That's something that a lot of my viewers have shown me too. That like they played an account with like 300 wins but 293 crowns. It's like, that's interesting,
Yeah, that's strange.
That seems a little weird, but whatever. Maybe they only play like some OP Golem deck in Arena 2 or whatever the heck, but very interesting anyway. Is Golem even unlocked in Arena 2? I don't know. So before we get into the bans, I want to ask you about level 1 gameplay, because as you can see, guys, he went from level 1 to level 9 because you kind of got sick of the level 1. You wanted to do global challenges. You wanted to do grand challenges, global tournaments, rather. So I want to ask you, as a pro caliber player who's actually done it. By the way, happy birthday! Yesterday, turned 16. Are you going to be competing in CRL? You think?
I'm hoping I will. Probably not this upcoming season that starts very soon, but maybe next
2020.
season it'll be when I'm on summer break and I'll have an opportunity to participate. That would be great.
Awesome, man. Would love to see you play. Can you go into a live? We ran out of replays.
Yeah, sure. I'll hop in the game right now.
Cool. So out of replays, do you want to play a live while we talk about the ban before we let you go?
Yeah, sure. I'll jump in the game right now.
All right. So obviously your name is #unbannedboss. You've been banned, you got your main account perma banned. This is months and months ago. And after that, I had you on the channel. You had a huge community support around you, and you vowed to never do anything against terms of service again. At that point, you had bought cheap gems way in the past, not really realizing the gravity of that infraction. But anyway, now you got your new account banned, unfortunately. And, I reached out to Supercell. I said, you're a good guy, blah, blah, blah. Can you look into this ban? They ended up saying that they stood by the ban. And there's been kind of a community uprising, your community, wanting more information, I guess, about this ban. So do you care to speak at all to it? I figured I'd give you the opportunity since I have you here on the channel anyway.
Well, I've been trying to reach out to Supercell a lot about it, because I mean, to me, a lot of the account sharing bans are from, people having pushers and stuff, but I stand by this, and I promise I'm the only person who's ever played a game on my account, so that's not the case of having like a push or anything like that.
So you're saying right now, for the record, on CWA, and look at this guy, what a tough match. It looks like you're going to have to play another one. You're saying on the record right now that no one has ever played another match on your account, ever.
Never, except me.
All right. Okay, go on. So walk us through the last week or two. Like, how did this all happen? What did he do that might have been suspicious? What do you think led to this ban? Why do you think Supercell is not budging even after looking into it again?
Well, there's a couple things that happened in the last week that may have sparked it, because I went on a trip with my church to Pennsylvania, as I told a lot of people, and while I was on the trip, I changed my name to some Chinese name because I like to do that end of the season to hide my deck. And then I'm thinking this may have kind of sparked it to, like, I don't know, have my account checked or something, because I uploaded a replay of that account on Twitter, and maybe some people saw it, or maybe Supercell saw it and thought that I was playing on some Chinese account or something like that, which, well, it was obviously not the case because I just changed it and that was in fact my account. So that could be a possibility.
Search for another battle. If you don't mind. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you changed your account name to a random Chinese name to try to avoid people from sniping you or identifying your deck on your ladder push at the end of the season. And at the same time, you were traveling to different states, so you might have been getting different pings. So that's what you think that the ban was potentially based on?
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting. Obviously, it's tough to say, right? Because I'm not Supercell, I can't see the account information, and the fact that they did look into it is interesting. I think at this point, luckily, it's only a 31-day ban, so you have the account back next season, and it sounds like as long as you do everything fine, then the likelihood of you ever getting a ban or a suspension again should hopefully be nil, but I guess you would probably say that after the first time, right?
Yeah, I mean, from here on out, believe me, I'm never going to be doing anything suspicious ever again, basically. And
yeah. Like, even the name changing and stuff, I probably wouldn't even, at this point, just to play it safe, I probably wouldn't even mess with.
Yeah, but until I get, contacted, if I even do, then I'll never know the
Sure.
actual reason for a fact.
Well, if you do get contacted and you do get an explanation, then feel free to come back on the channel and share that with us, because who knows, you never know. But anyway, thank you again for sharing that, transparency with us. And it's just a really interesting case, because obviously I said this on my streams, I've said this in previous videos, and I said this on Twitter when anybody ever asks about you. I think, like, obviously you're a really good guy, and it's kind of a shame. But at the same time, it's just an interesting story that you have with your accounts and stuff like that. But anyway, I hope for the best for you, and I really hope to see you in CRL next year. We have a little bit of time here in this match. What do you think of, just totally aside, I'm just curious, why do you only play that giant deck? Being a really good player and proficient with many different decks, why do you only play that giant deck on ladder, mainly top ladder? Do you think it's that good?
I think in this specific meta, I think it's actually great in this meta, because there's currently right now 2.9 literally everywhere, and on top of that, the P.E.K.K.A. rework, I actually think I have a pretty solid matchup against P.E.K.K.A. I think before it was pretty close to 50-50, but now with all this P.E.K.K.A. everywhere, I think with the P.E.K.K.A. having the HP nerf, my deck actually does better against it. Because giant decks and golem decks, I think, do better against the P.E.K.K.A. now, but P.E.K.K.A. does better against decks like other decks, like Hog Rider, Ram Rider, Royal Hogs, decks like that.
Very interesting. Yeah, I think that it's interesting. I'll have the deck on the screen for you guys right now if you're curious, and I'll put the deck link if you guys want to play it in the show notes below. But you've been on the channel with it before in the past. Is it just to me, the unsung hero of this deck seems like the E-Drag. Do you think he's underrated?
I really do. I actually use more decks with E-Drag than just that. I really love using Golem E-Drag too. I honestly think E-Drag is the type of card that takes a little bit of practice, because if you get timing down on certain just interactions and stuff, and you learn kind of the stun, how to use it the most efficiently, it can really, I think it can really be a great card in lots of cases.
I agree with you, man. I think E-Drag is very underrated, especially with all the bridge spam going around and like Prince and stuff like that. Like, it just does so well against all those cards, not just
And Sparky.
air. Yeah, and Sparky, and like even Minion Horde and like random cards like that, it destroys. So like it's I agree with you. I think the E-Drag is a really solid card. But anyway, boss, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you for coming on about these two I don't know, I don't want to call them controversial topics, but these two sensitive topics, I guess. And really happy to have you on. I'll have a link to your YouTube channel where you're uploading what, like 4 or 5 times a week right now?
Yeah, taking a little break now because I'm going to be going on vacation. But yeah, I've been trying to upload every single day. Hopefully I can keep that consistent
Nice,
when
man.
I start school up in a few weeks.
Yeah, man. Well, school first, family first, obviously, but we're enjoying the content all the same. And of course, you stream still frequently on Twitch. I'll have that Twitch link for you as well, guys. So, boss, thanks again for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ash, for having me on. Appreciate it.
No problem. Guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'll have Boss's information in the show notes below. Thank you guys for watching all the way till the end. Huge shout out to Stats Royale and to Bren Chong, my YouTube partners. Check out their information as well. Thank you. And as always, take care, guys.